My role here is to be challenging, to be a bit confrontational, risque, provoking. I was given a lot of marketing words for this, by the way. So you can translate all that from the marketing words and put it into, he's an arrogant sales guy. That's your choice. I'm going to take it. So I'm going to ask the question, am I brave or stupid? I'm a sales guy, and there's what, 50 odd of you in here? All in marketing. And I'm going to stand here and tell you what you do is not working for me. It doesn't fit my job, doesn't support me, and it's not right. That's a big generalization. I come from marketing. I believe marketing is important. And hopefully out of today, what we'll get is an understanding of each side and how we can improve things. What's the perception today of sales and of marketing, of each other? Well, I'll tell you what I think of marketing and what sales guys generally think of marketing, and then we can think about what you guys think of sales. Sales guys think you're producing lots of nice stuff, lots of coloured pens, pretty pictures, graphics, lunch with the agency, and talking about the web and how wonderful it is, and have you been on Twitter? I don't have a Twitter account. I use it to find information, but I don't tweet myself. LinkedIn is my tool. I'm in sales. I want to know who they are. That's my social media. But what do you guys think of sales? Well, historically, you think we're all sitting there by the fax machine on the phone, waiting for that order to come in that you created from the marketing that you did. Maybe in the old days, I remember the good old days of sitting by the fax, and at the end of Friday afternoon, sitting there with a gin and tonic or a wine by the fax and going, whoa, made the quota. Those were good days. It's not anymore. You think we're all off on conferences and jollies, lazing around the pool, getting these great keynote speeches from our CEOs while you're all back hard working in the office. Yeah, it does happen. Be honest. But at the end of the day, we're being given information of how we can do more business. We take the collateral and we go out to the customers and we come up with various promises to the customer. We say, we'll do everything better for you. Or we'll just tell them, just buy the thing. Bully them into it. Force the customer to buy. That's not a good strategy either. And there are some people out there who promise the world, even if the customer doesn't want it or we can't deliver it. There'll be that promise and we fail. All of those come down to being very short-term strategies for a sales engagement model. But I'm pretty certain that everyone in this room at some stage in their life has actually sold. And you'll sit there going, oh no, I've never had a sales career. There's a lovely quote there which I like, the fact that the guy had 2 degrees, which was fantastic. He was a student. So pretty much when all of you were students, you'd have been out there selling. Do you want fries with that? That's an upsell. Great. No, that dress doesn't make your bum look big. It's a value sell statement. And the other one is, do you want to make that drink a double when you were working in the student union bar? That's productivity. The guy doesn't have to come back again. All of those are sales techniques. So you have sold. So let's talk about buy and sell. Well, there's always buyers and there's always sellers. That's not what I mean by this slide. Generally, there are 2 types of sales transaction. There is a buy transaction and a sell transaction. In the buy world, the customer comes to buy something. Talking to the slide earlier in the stats, 57% of people have already made that decision. They know what they want to do. You want to go out and buy a car. You've made a decision you want a car. It's just for the sales guys to convert you into which model you want, what color and which extras you want. That sales environment is more about account management and relationship. So if we're looking in the business-to-business world, it may be the consumable supplier for the toners and the printers in the office. It may be the stationery supplier. You build a relationship and then you keep the relationship going and fulfilling that. And it's one model. The sales model's different. It's about identifying a problem in a customer and coming up with a solution that they don't actually know they want, and they certainly don't know they want it from you, and going in there and convincing them that that's what they need. They may know that they have a business problem, but they don't know what the solution is. And in a sales environment, certainly you've got to convince them what that is. So we did talk about sales in the previous slide, but obviously we're saying now that not all sales is selling. And today we're going to look at business-to-business selling, not sales and account management. So what does sales do today? Well, we have to be a jack of all trades. We wear many hats. We are a hunter. We have to go out there and find the targets with marketing's assistance, and we'll talk about that later. So we have to go and find the customers. We have to identify who potentially could need our solution. We actually have to understand their business. So we have to be a researcher. We have to go out there and say, how is their business behaving today? What are the pain points in their business? And what do I have in my arsenal of products and services that can fix their pain points that they may want to buy? I've got to be a technical evangelist. I've got to go out there and convince the CIO or the technical director that our product has all the features that he wants to meet his demand. And I've got to be a consultant and an accountant in the same sentence, because I've got to go out there and talk to the CEO and the CFO and convince them that this solution is the right thing for their business, that it's going to improve their profitability, solve a business issue, reduce a risk that they may have in their organization. They didn't actually come out and say, I need X. They're saying, my business isn't growing, I've got a security problem, I've got a risk and compliance issue. Those are the issues they have. They're looking at their profit, their EBITDA, their return to their shareholders. It was pointed out in one of the quotes earlier. Most of these companies, when you get to the top levels, the only thing they're caring about is what is their EBITDA, how do their shares perform, and what are they doing for their investors. So let's look at some of the things that we don't need from marketing. Meaningless brand. We don't just need a logo or, oh, we'll do some brand marketing. Brand's important. As a sales guy, when I walk through the door and I'm talking to that CEO, I want him to know who we are, who the company is, what our proposition is, and what our credibility is. That does go back to social media in some way, because social media today does play a big point in the brand. But as it said on the slide, I've just spent 4.5 years with Avaya. Avaya is the world's leading telecommunications provider. I don't know who has actually heard of Avaya in this room. Well, it's good and bad. There's a lot of no-show hands. Specifically in the UK, and when I went out to a dinner party or met up with some other people, and they say, what do you do? And you tell them, and they go, Avaya? What, so you're what, the insurance company? No, that's Aviva. So brand is important, but meaningless brand or wrongly positioned brand just makes my life hard. I want to be able to walk in there and people know who I am, have the credibility that when my business card hits the desk, that it's going to get a meeting with the right people. Collateral. God, you guys are good at it. I have seen so much collateral in my time. I've been drowned under collateral. But the challenge with the collateral that we see isn't necessarily specific to the client we're talking to. Generic collateral in this day and age doesn't work. I can't go in there with a bunch of meaningless brochures saying about how wonderful we are. If I'm walking into a pharmaceutical market and I'm dealing with examples of petrochemical, it's not appropriate. The collateral has to be appropriate. Less is more. Keep it to the point. What does it do? I agree it's important to have consistency, to have an image, because that image goes to driving your reputation, your brand, your image in the client base. But most sales guys every year get that new PowerPoint template that you've designed with the latest strapline on, and then 4 weeks later you're going to give me a hard time because I've used the old one because I didn't see the email about the new one and I didn't download it off the web. Don't give us a hard time if we've used Times and the corporate font Helvetica. It's not the end all. It's not going to make or break a deal. So let's look at those. Promotions. Oh, I love promotions. They're fantastic. They are the best way of undermining my sales proposition. You'll come out there, buy 5, get 1 free. Buy this, get that. If you buy this configuration, you get a better deal. In various companies I've been at, and I can't name them because it would be unfair, I've seen promotions where we had so many promotions that our customers employed people to work out which promotion to use and which one to combine to maximize their discount for us to give away margin. It's brilliant. They knew more about it than we did, because we had one group of product marketing create a promotion over here, different group create one over here, they overlapped, double discount, brilliant. We got abused. So what do we need from you? Go back to my earlier point, we do need stuff from you. We need sales enablement. Our view is it's your job to make my job easier. You're there, this would be the real controversial one, you're there to help me make my commission. That's the truth. And how do we want that? We want you to be able to deliver the proposition of the product. And that's not just, oh, look how many flashing lights it's got, it does this, it does the other. We want to know what it is, what it does, but more importantly, why the customer needs it for their specific area. What does it do for them? How does it improve their business? And I need you to provide me with the information and collateral to do that. Because without it, I'm going to make it up, at which point it's going to be wrong. So we do need that, and we need to actually focus very clearly on what return on investment it brings that client. But what do you guys think leads are? Well, it's a response to a marketing activity, which is going to be handed to sales, and sales is going to convert it into a opportunity and a sale. What do we see? Well, I've got a list of names and addresses on pieces of paper with some telephone numbers to ring. That is not a lead. That is just a name and address. I could have got the yellow pages and got that. I need a qualified lead. I want to know who the customer is. I want to know who the contact people at the customer are. What is the pain in their business? I'd like to know if they have the budget, if they've identified the opportunity that they need to fix. I'd need to know who the business decision maker is, who's actually driving the inquiry. Has that person got any credibility or not? And who is going to be making the final decisions? Don't get me wrong, I'll go away and do the research as well and find out who the CIO is, who the CFO is, how to get that engagement going, what relationships they've got. LinkedIn, my favorite tool. Build out my engagement plan. And that's part of the sales function. But if I get just a name and address, it's worthless. It needs to be fully qualified. So why do I think there's a problem? What are the gaps? There's few marketing people generally who have had a sales career and gone into marketing. And I'll tell you, going back to perception, that most salespeople who think that they're in marketing and they were formerly sales, we will turn around and think, couldn't cut it in sales. There are people who go from marketing to sales. I'm one of them. And as we saw another example in the quotes we had there. So it's different behaviors and different motivations. Marketing people don't spend enough time with the customer. And I'm going to be specific here. This is really around product marketing or offer marketing. They don't get enough time with the customer. Various reasons, particularly in the technology segment. A lot of the time these people are sitting in, I'll call it the ivory tower, which is probably somewhere in California or North America or something else. So they may not even be in country. They may have been to a few customers close to them, but they certainly may have not been over to the European market, gone and visited a couple of customers over here, understood their needs. Marketing have to be in the customer. They need to understand the pressures of that customer and what their needs are, so they can design the product and the solution and the marketing that go to it. I'll be honest and hold my hands up. It scares the hell out of me to try and take a marketing person into an account. I've done it. I've lost business over doing it because the marketing person comes in and goes, yeah, you know what you're doing? We've got a new feature which we're about to start coding that will come out in 2 years' time that will really fix your problem. Right, pack the bag, let's go. Put it on the opportunity list on my forecast now for 2000 whatever it is, because we're not going to win the business. Sales are scared that you'll damage the relationship by coming in or undermine the sale. It's being honest. It's a trust issue. It's one of the things we'll probably go on to later about the trust between sales and marketing. I think our biggest challenge is the alignment of how we're measured. There'll be a few people in here who are measured on revenue, who actually do get a bonus paid on the performance of the company. Me, I wake up in the morning, I've got a target on my head with a number behind it. I have to deliver it. That's what I do. If I don't deliver it, I'm gone. Marketing is one of the soft touches for companies who go, times are hard. Let's cut that marketing budget. And you're sitting there thinking, but we drive all the business. And sales are sitting there going, no, we own all the business. And the sales team generally don't get touched. If we were aligned and everybody was focused on the same thing, which is the one measurement that anybody in every company should be measured on. And this was drilled into me at a previous company where every single employee, and it didn't matter if it was a receptionist, was focused on the same thing. Profit. What are you doing today which is going to drive profitable revenue for this business? I don't care how nice the color is. I don't care how nice the marketing is. Does it make dollars? Does it put money on the bottom line? Because unless we're all looking at the same thing, then we're going to be going in different directions. So with that, I'm going to ask you again, am I brave or stupid? Well, I don't think I'm that brave, but I think I would be stupid if I didn't share with marketing what I need to do my job and understand what you can do to support me in doing my job. Because if we don't talk, then neither of us will succeed. Thank you.